is N4LQ calling CQ the Old Friends Net, 160 meter AM, 1864. Good evening. I'd like to hear some check-ins this evening. If you would, please give me a call. N4LQ.
K4QE.
All right, Tony, K4QE, N4LQ, got you, and somebody tried, I think. There was a carrier, but no audio. Try again, please.
KN4R.
There's Brian, KN4R. Let's see if anybody else comes in. Got somebody with a carrier and no audio, but anyway, let's go ahead and start a little round table here and see what everybody's up to tonight. I'm on the AF67, driving the AL82 amp and the D104 mic and the NFET half wave and all that good stuff. So, what you been up to today there, Tony? It's been kind of cloudy most of the day here. No snow or rain or anything like other people have been getting. I hear the boys out there in the western part of the state have been getting some accumulation. K4QE, N4LQ.
All right, Steve. Yeah, same old here. You're 35 over, by the way, here. 35 over 9. So, nice strong signal. And Brian, I didn't look at the meter when you were transmitting, but you were loud and clear too. I slept in late today because I had, it was a day off today, and did some food shopping in preparation for my wife's procedure. Got to make sure the kids are going to be okay while the two of us are out of the house. And I did a lot more reading today on more in-depth reading today on some mainframe stuff. So that my education in that continues. There's a guy on Groups.io on one of the Hercules groups. It's a mainframe group, one of the many, who has an IBM Model 360, S360 Model 65 CPU, and he's trying to figure out how to interface. He actually dismantled the thing when it got decommissioned some 40 years ago, and he's trying to figure out how to get the thing to run and interface it with some modern technology to supplant what's missing, namely the I/O channels and some of the output channels and the disk. So he figures he can do it using the Hercules emulator and a few other things, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done to figure all that out. And he reached out to the couple of the groups that do Hercules to see if there's anyone who could contribute some ideas as to how he should go about doing it. He ended up creating another separate Groups.io group specifically for this rebuild. So it's going to be an interesting journey, and he's already shared several pictures of the unit, which he has already started reconstructing in his yard. So cool stuff. And I hear John on 2 meters. I apparently am boring him, but oh well, you'll just have to deal with it. Anyway, So I've been enjoying doing that, and I made dinner for the family tonight. We had hamburgers for dinner, and I slipped in here and turned on the radio, and I've also got the Eagles game on in the background. The game kickoff is at 8:15, so I'll be keeping an eye on that as we go along here. So over to Bryant, KN4R from K4QE.
Yeah, okay, Tony, very good. K4QE in the group. KN4R. Well, you've had a busy day off, and best of luck on the wife's procedure, and okay on the shopping and the cooking, and very interesting on the mainframe reading and the IBM 360/65 being resurrected with some modern I/O and output channels and disk storage. So that's very interesting. So, and you said he was putting it back together in his yard. So I hope he has at least a tarp to throw over it or whatever. So I've been up in around Hendersonville, Fairview, some other little towns up that way, funeral, and visiting with the family afterwards. And just got back home about 15 minutes ago. This was a husband of a cousin of my wife, so we hadn't seen that side of the family. And I took Kathy's brother, who they knew much better than me. I'd met them a few times, but not with Bradley. So anyway, we had a full day of it, and we were coming back, and he wanted to eat, so we stopped in Marion and ate at Countryside Barbecue, and that's about the best barbecue I think I've ever had. And the barbecue sauce, unbelievable, just thick, and you could tell it was homemade and really, really good. So anyway, that's it. And I hear another carrier, so back to you, Steve. N4LQ in the group, KN4R.
Okay. KN4R in the group, N4LQ. Let's see if we can get somebody else in here tonight. Give us a call. Yeah, that time I saw very weak carriers. They're coming in all shapes and sizes tonight. Try one more time.
Whiskey 4, Japanese plastic lunchbox.
All right, W4JPL lunchbox N4LQ. Good evening, John. We heard that you were enjoying the in-depth conversation about the IBM mainframe. Boy, that 360 kind of reminds me of something that we had, I guess, at the bank. And they had a controller, it was called, that had, I think it was 32 or 36 ports, and they used, they had, well, let's see, what they call the loop technology, 3600 loop technology, and we had a couple of big racks covered with modems, and those went out and interfaced with the branches scattered around the, well, actually they were convenience stores that we had terminals in, and they had a backup controller. This thing was about the size of a washing machine, so they had two washing machines, each with 32 ports, and each of those ports consisted of two ports, because there was a jack and a plug. It was a male and female outlet for each port. Anyway, they called me up one day and said, Steve, we got a problem. When this thing breaks or causes a problem, we want to switch over to that other one real quick, but there's no way IBM has to do that. We have to unplug all those cables and move them over and hook them up, and that takes too much time. What can you do? And I said, well, I can build you a switch. And so I started to work and made another washing machine size contraption with I guess 36 relays, and had a switch on it to activate the relays. All they had to do is just switch all those ports over at one time. That was a nice project. Turned out real good. Anyhow, that was the good old days. Over to you, John W4JPL, and give it back to Tony, and then to Brian, and then they'll see who else shows up. W4JPL, N4LQ.
N4LQ in the group, W4JPL. Fine business, good evening. Spent my morning in the Dumfries area, which is up near Washington, D.C., and drove the rest of the way home. And a long few days, I went up to Philly area and saw my sister, and then stopped at my son's, and then wound our way back to North Carolina. It was snowing up in D.C., a little light coating on the ground, so that's all that's happening here. Got a lot of stuff going on here. And one thing I got this toy, a Transformers Optimus Prime, and it's I don't know, it's about 12, 14-inch thing that you push a remote control and it transforms. Well, it stopped transforming. So I took that thing completely apart, but I didn't document it like I usually do. So I got it back together and I managed to fix it. I saw a bearing that wasn't, it was a shaft running on a piece of plastic, metal shaft running on a piece of plastic that was collapsing, so I just jury-rigged another piece of metal in there, a little bit of JB weld, and I fixed it. So Tony can bore you to death with computer stuff. I mean, you can't buy naps like that, and I can bore you to death with my stupid toy repairs. K4QE, W4JPL.
Okay. Yeah, well, we all have our things, right? So anyway, yeah, Steve, that was an interesting story. I wonder if you have. Well, I doubt you have any pictures of that stuff. One time, I brought a camera into the office when I was working at the bank, and I took a crap load of pictures of all the kind of stuff I used to work on, and some really cool shots in our data center. So I gotta find them. I know they have to be on a computer disk someplace around here. I haven't looked at them in years, but fascinating stuff. I've had a lot of fun over my career. Had a lot of fun at the bank because I got to deal with some really huge systems that I had never had the opportunity to play with since. I mean, I work on a lot of systems now, a lot of large scale Linux and based environments and such, but nothing like what I did at the bank. I had so much fun. Oh man. Anyway, I'm at the twilight of my career, I guess. I'm 59 now, and I got a lot less years ahead of me than I do behind me, and I'm probably going to be doing the same thing I'm doing now for the next few years until I retire. So, such is life. At least at home, I can do what I want, have fun, and geek out as much as I wish. So, and there's a whole lot more stuff to geek out on now than there used to be. And you have the internet to reach out and get help from people and share ideas and what have you. So that's all good. But yeah, John, I'm glad to hear you're back home, and back home safely, that is. And I hope that Sandy and George and Kenny and his family are doing okay. So you'll have to give me the rundown when you get a chance. And all right, I guess it goes over to Brian, KN4R in a group from K4QE.
Okay, Tony, very good. K4QE in the group, KN4R. Well, very good on your background in the bank, and Steve, very, very good on your big switch to switch over from A to B. That sounds really good. So, and John, welcome back from your road trip. I assume you were visiting family. So, anyway, glad to have you back. I know how you feel. I just got back a little while ago, and I didn't see any inclement weather. Didn't see any snow. It rained just a little bit. I mean, not enough to even talk about. But So I don't know exactly where the storm went up in mountains of North Carolina or Tennessee, but it didn't get down as far as Hendersonville, that area, when I was down there. So, and the drive over was pretty good. 26 wasn't too bad. I went through Shelby. It went right by your house, Steve, pretty much, and then I got on 74 and took it the rest of the way. So, or until I got on 26. So, anyway, had a good time. So, I don't have much else. So, back to you, Steve. N4LQ in the group, KN4R.
Okay, KN4R in the group, N4LQ. Do we have any more check-ins?
WF to you.
W4GZ.
WF to you.
Okay, we got 2 WF2Us and 1 and W4GUZ. So welcome to all 3 of you. Oh gosh, let's see. We went 8 Chinese today, and gosh, you should have stopped in, Brian. Warm up, I guess. Yeah, we went over to the Chinese buffet over there on Dixon Highway, and pretty nice place. Got a fairly decent selection of Chinese yummies, and boy, I got my, that meter I got. Well, that company, Zoe or whatever it is, they also make a little handheld thing that does all of that, plus it has a built-in dual trace scope, and of course it's a little bigger. Dual trace digital storage scope, 50 megahertz, with a couple of nice looking probes, looks like Tektronix type probes. Gosh, it did so much I couldn't even begin to list it, plus all the crazy features the VOM had, and I think it's around $70. Now that's cheap. That does all that. I tell you, this stuff's getting almost irresistible. And Tony, I looked at yours, the one you sent me, and what I liked about it was it had the analog, curved analog dial on it. I guess I'm not sure how fast it is, if it can actually follow real-time changes quickly enough or not. And that's nice, but it didn't have the inductance, and that's the reason I bought this little gadget to begin with. So, but now I got my eyes on that scope. You got me thinking about barbecue now, and I'm not really that crazy about barbecue, but neither is the XYL. But I know good barbecue when I see it, and I like the sweet type slaw, and I don't like the sour stuff. Anyway, let's see. Real fine on your trip back from DC, John and Tony. Yeah, I don't think I have any pictures at all about that bank. I don't know. Taking pictures was a big deal back then. You had to carry a camera around, and they didn't have digital cameras back then, and you had to get the film developed, and who wants to pay to get a picture developed of a computer room? So it's just not something I did a whole lot of. I got some shoe boxes full of pictures up there that I've preserved, but nothing of the bank. And I think I had one picture when I taught school. I had one picture of the class. And I'm thinking, man, I wish I had more and more stuff now, but there's no record that place ever existed. They tore it down, bulldozed it, and planted grass. It's gone. So let's go down to let's see here. Go down to the mirror, and then mirror give it to W4GUZ, and then back to me then. Go ahead, Mirror. WF2U, N4LQ.
Roger, N4LQ, and the group WF2U. Well, good evening, everybody. and good signals all around. The noise is not bad at all. Hold on. Okay, no problem. I thought that the antenna tuner was off. I just didn't look at it at the right angle. Anyway, yeah, signals are good, and good evening, John, and Steve, and I didn't make any notes. So anyway, in fact, I don't know who it goes to from here. Oh, yeah, W4GUZ. Now I recall checked in after me. So go ahead. This is WFTU.
Well, hello. Let me touch things up here. Well, Steve, Brian, I think I heard you, maybe Mir. Even though I may only check in once every 2 weeks, I am so 110% dedicated to this net. You have no idea what the last hour has involved, but I have been beating snow off of wires, especially the 540 feet of wire I've got up in a loop. I've got pictures of it before I beat it. It disappeared afterwards, but anyway, interesting day. Quiet day at work. It snowed off and on all day at work, but it snowed all day here at home. 400 feet difference. It was a very treacherous ride home. I'm usually one that lives on the edge when it comes to slick roads. I love it. Spinning tires and donuts and all that good stuff, but it was so slick that I did not even think about playing on the way home. Made it home, and the loop was about 30 feet off the ground in one corner, and I've got springs on two corners that'll allow for the trees to sway and take up all the slack. But anyway, got all that beat off, and then looked, and the 600 ohm line was laying in about 4 inches of snow on top of the roof. So I got the ladder out with my one-handed wife that's had surgery. She held it. I took the broom and raked off the snow to get the ladder line off the roof, and then beat the ladder line, and then come down here and fired the rig up. And the plate current on the 20V2 was through the roof, but it was through the roof on the dummy load. So I pulled the back off the tank box and packed on a relay, and apparently the little 24 volt power supply that I'm using to run the relays wasn't quite strong enough tonight. Maybe the line voltage is a little low. So I touched it, and the plate current come down, and vamoose, here I am. So that's what's happening on Staggerweed, north corner of Mitchell County, and it is snowing golf ball size flakes up here, and nothing on the south end of the county. Absolutely nothing. Brian, where we met at Walmart to do a little swapping that day, nothing but rain. You drive about 5 miles north, and you've got 3 to 4 inches. N4LQ, and I'm percolating quite nice now. Oh, and I also had a hum too, and I couldn't figure out why. I had one processor plugged into another processor. Don't ask me how, but yes, an XRL female plugged into a male. Luckily, one processor was off. I had about 25% hum on the scope here, so it's been a struggle, but and the standing wave's going up, so I guess the snow's melting. Let's see. I promise that's as long as I'll talk tonight. It's 1.15. Good enough for a really nasty afternoon. N4LQ and the group W4G use it.
Oh, W4GUZ and 4LQ. Yeah, well, sounds good to me. You're exactly 10 kc wide, which is about perfect. Let me see what's going on here. Power dropped down or something. I guess not. Thought I had more power going out than that, but don't need it anyway. So, yeah, 10K exactly. I mean, it looks like a flex or something, the way it's so abrupt. And that's good, and I'm proud of you, Brandon, for being that dedicated and getting that snow off that 600 ohm ladder line. Yeah, well, my ladder line is pretty much vertical. I don't think I would have that problem, but it could stick to the horizontal loop. But I may have a solution here. All I'm going to do is get my little auto transformer out here, my Variac, and run a couple of test clip leads over to the big Frankenstein switch, open it up and hook the leads to the antenna, and run some voltage through there and get some current and heat that baby up. I've done that before up in Kentucky. We used to get some ice, and sometimes that wire would get 2 inches in diameter from ice, and it broke quite a few times. Broke the wire or the rope or something. So anyway, so I haven't run this on 160 much. I think just once before. This is the AF67, and listening to the audio, to me it doesn't sound. There we go. It doesn't sound as good as the LISCO did. That LISCO had an unusually clean sounding audio for some reason. Maybe it's just my ears, I don't know. If you got an opinion on that, I'd welcome it. But the trouble with the LISCO is not enough RF. 3 watts out, that's about it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and turn it up to Tony. So he goes to K4QE, KN4R, then W4JPL, and then Mir, and then Brandon, W4GUZ. Anybody else want to check in before we start another round? All right, Tony, go ahead. K4QE and 4LQ.
Okay, Steve, and good evening to Mir, and good evening to Brandon. Good to hear you guys. Nice signals here tonight. Band's nice and quiet for a change compared to what it has been recently. And don't even see anybody on either side of us either, surprisingly. Anyway, I just watching the Eagles game here, and the Eagles are already losing 3-0. Boy, I'm not happy about that. Hope that, of course, only the beginning of the game. So anyway, I got to give him a chance to get tuned up. Oh, Brian, you I don't know if I misspoke or if you misunderstood or what, but he's not restoring the unit in his yard. He's restoring the unit in his garage. He unpacked the unit. There were 3 big units which he had in storage for 40 years, and he pulled them out of storage and had them put back at his house in the garage, and he's reconstructing them now. He's got some pretty interesting pictures here. I'm happy to share them with anybody who wants to see them. They're quite interesting, and I found the pictures of the stuff that I took back in 2001, and there are less pictures there than I remember taking. But I'll share one of them with you guys, of me standing next to one of the one of the rack of servers that I used to manage. I used to manage the 4 largest, aside from the mainframe, the 4 largest computers in the bank. They housed our data warehouse and 2 other systems that supported it. And one of the systems was in Delaware. The other 2 were in Elgin, Illinois. And I managed the 2 in Elgin, Illinois remotely. I was the very first admin to manage systems long distance. And that was interesting. It was quite interesting. Took a lot of getting used to. Now it's second nature to me, but back then that was all new stuff. No one was doing it. So it was all good. Anyway, I will pass it on over to Brian, KN4R in the group from K4QE.
Yeah, okay, Tony. K4QE in the group, KN4R, returning. Very good. And hello, Amir, and hello, Brandon. And Brandon, it does sound like you had quite a day, and I too appreciate your dedication here. So glad to have you here. So anyway, I didn't see any of that snow Brandon's talking about, so I need to really look and see where the dividing line has been. I haven't been on the computer since I got home, and I'm tired, but I certainly didn't drive as far as John JPL, so I'm sure he's tired as well. And anyway, Amir, you sound good tonight. Brandon, you sound superb tonight. So static eliminating over there. So I'm not going to hold it. Back to you, John. W4JPL in the group, KN4R.
Okay, KN4R in the group, W4JPL, fine business. I was up in Philadelphia visiting my sister, who lives in Ben Salem, which is north of Philadelphia, and then my son lives in South Jersey. So I made a little loop-de-loop and made everybody happy. It's a Christmas visit, but because we all had COVID and everything, and I got a few other things going on here, it's been delayed, so I finally made the trip up there. I don't think we're going to see any snow here. Brian, there's one thing wrong. You and I are here and not in Southport. That's a problem. Probably in a few weeks I'm going to need my Southport fix, depending on what I got going on here. And Steve, I saw the meter that you bought. That's very interesting. I'm wanting to buy a regular multimeter. I bought one maybe a year or 2 or so ago, and it's supposed to be auto ranging, but it's not, and I don't like it because I always have to double check, and it's a real tiny little display thing there about what range it is and for voltage or resistance or whatever, and I need to buy another meter. So I'll be interested in any recommendations that isn't going to break the bank either. Over to you, Amir, W4JPL.
Yeah, Roger, W4JPL and the group WF2U. Yeah, okay. Very good, John. Glad you had a good visit. And you have to come back to winter weather here. But anyway, Tony, you started out with a nice signal, and towards the end I could barely copy you because you just faded. Pretty heavy QRN. I mean QSB, no QRN. Rather, the bed is rather quiet. So just conditions. Steve, you are strong, and Brian, you're pretty loud also. Noise meter on this radio. So I'm doing it by ear. And Brian, W4GUZ, you are booming in here. Also pretty good signal. Running the Kenwood PKM 707 Marine radio. and definitely a glitch in the display because there should be a bar graph for relative strength, not an S meter by any means, but that's kind of blank, so it's not doing anything. I opened the radio. I thought maybe something is loose, like the cable that goes to the display panel. I wiggled it a little bit and all that, but it's still the same. So the segments are out or something with the driver is kind of. But hey, the money that I paid for this transceiver with all the 150 watt PEP output, I don't care. It's just another toy. But it otherwise it works nice as a radio. So yeah, putting out what is it, about almost 50 watts carrier and peaking up to about 100 watts with modulation on upper sideband with a carrier. So back to you there, Brian, W4GUZ. This is WF to you.
Okay, Mir, WF to you, W4GUZ. Hello, John. Maybe, I guess Eric, did Eric call you? I told him to. I'm sure you'll work that deal out soon. He travels from one end of the state about twice a month. But good talking to you today. And Brian, you're sounding good. Tony, everybody's sounding good up here tonight. Nice and quiet. Standing wave staying where it should be, so I guess the wind has stopped and the feed line's not bouncing off the roof. I need to raise it up just a little bit. Anyway, good test. Good test on the copper wire. Hopefully it doesn't stretch. We'll see in a few days if I can put the tuner back to the spot that it was prior to this event. See, we didn't have any snow last year and very little the year before, so this is really the first heavy snow that the old loop has seen, and it sure doesn't look like 70 feet because it's not in those pictures. But when everything is nice and tight, it's right at 70 feet following the terrain, of course. But anyway, worked today, listened to you guys this morning. Good net. Remember Terry, not doing well, not going into details, but he got transferred again to Johnson City. They're doing a surgery tomorrow. I talked to his ex-wife today. This is WD4OUM. He's still got his head on his shoulders and he wants to pull through, and hopefully the Lord will let him give him the strength to do it, and the doctors the ability to fix him. But, I don't know, that's weighing heavy on my heart. Plus Steve, I guess you heard Chad talking about the baby that got ran over. We're actually related, and I can relate because I've lost a daughter, but not in that fashion. And Lord, give him the strength to get through it and not blame himself for what happened. For those that don't know, close by Saturday, a friend was cutting wood, and it's cold as whiz up here. I don't know about down there, but cold here. Probably had no thought about any of his children being around, and he was cutting firewood and had the truck loaded up and backed the truck up, and very, very unfortunate his 18-month-old daughter was behind the truck. So keep him in your prayers too. Not much else going on here. The only project going on in the shack that I finished Friday was a dial key or a TR relay and a frequency counter from China, all packed into one box for a friend of mine, which will soon be on here. Newly licensed, well, upgraded general. Received a Ranger for Christmas, and I recapped the NC 109 for him a little while back. Steve, you probably have met him. You probably don't remember him because I didn't introduce you, but him and his wife was at Waynesville, and he was also at Shelby. But he's the emergency management guru for the western part of the state. And John, that's who's going to buy your matchbox. So, anyway, got the TR relay going, waiting on the D104 base because I don't have an extra that I want to give up. And that should be it. I have to figure out how to mute the NC 109. I guess I'll break the B+. That wasn't an option as far as looking at the manual anyway. He's got several boat anchors. I think that's the one he's going to go with. But I don't know what I'll do there. Whether I'll break the speaker line and put a resistor in, 8-ohm resistor, or break the B+. Anyway, I've got a box with the frequency counter and a TR relay and a couple extra contacts, so I can do whatever I need to do. But I repurposed a Chinese bench power supply about 2 weeks, and then it quit. The display would read 5 volts, and you'd measure it, and it'd be about 7 volts. You turn the current up, and the light bulb didn't get any brighter, so I gutted it and repurposed it. I'll hang in here for one more round, and then I'm going to get a bite of supper. I know it's late, Steve. Don't fuss at me. It's bad for me, I know. Bad habit. That's what you get for shift work. Some people call it another word. But, just a few more years, and then I will be doing something else. It will not be public safety. I may be down at the father-in-law's shop changing and balancing tires, which I'll be quite happy about. Back to you, Steve. And as far as the Lisco, I've heard it from work on the SDR. I don't think I've listened to it here in high fidelity on the SX28 or anything of those sorts. But I guess you're on the Valiant tonight. Sounds fine to me. On the I don't even know what the model number is. Anyway, it's a matching speaker for the Hallicrafter's SX28, sounding quite nice. Standing wave is slowly going down, which is a good thing. Hopefully water's dripping off the feed line. N4LQ in the group, W4GUZ. John, let me know if Eric contacted you. If he didn't, he will. He's a man of his word. W4GUZ.
W4GUZ, N4LQ. Do we have any more check-ins tonight?
N4CLY.
Oh, there's Cly. N4CLY, Cly. Hey, go ahead and give us a transmission there and tell us what's been going on, and then turn it back to me. Over.
Okay, Steve, no problem. Not much going on, just trying to keep everything in the greenhouse from getting too cold. I finally got a UV light. All my sweet potatoes died because I didn't have a UV light in there, but I'm going to replant them here in about 2 weeks, so they should be good. My peppers are doing great. All the insects are staying in there. They're not going out and dying, so all
all's good on that side. Anyway, I was interested in the TR switch he was talking about. Wondering if he could send me a link to it, maybe.
I built it from scratch. I went with the help of Chinese.
Okay, roger that. I thought you'd ordered one from them. All right, no problem. I appreciate it. Anyway, back to you, Steve, N4CLY.
Okay, Cly. Any more check-ins? All right, it's N4LQ. Well, I've got a Chinese TR switch here that I burned up, but they're only $46, I believe, and they have a distributor here in this country. They're on eBay. Just look up, I think you can do just like SDR TR switch or something, and then look for a US dealer. And they have a, let's see, they got 2 coax ports, one for the antenna, one for the transmitter, and the receiver port is usually what you call it? I was going to say LNA, but the SMA, SMA type for the SDR, or you can use an adapter or whatever. And then it has a trigger jack. You can trigger it from the transceiver's send relay if you want, or it just let it do its thing with the RF sensing. And that's what I like to use, the RF sense. And you just plug any transmitter in there, key it up, and she'll go right in to transmit. And then on the front are 3 audio jacks, and you can run your you can run your computer's audio in, and then the speaker audio out, so that'll mute that automatically. And then it's also got a jack for the transceiver's audio if you want to be able to listen to the transceiver and the SDR. Anyway, so that's pretty neat for $46. And of course, the MFJ's got one. I think it's the 1708, but it's a lot more money. It's closer to $100, and it does not have the muting feature on it. So I like this Chinese one better. And then I bought a kit from maybe, or what is that? Hayseed Hamfest. Yeah, he was selling a kind of a kit made by Rand Technology, but he's apparently quit doing it for some reason. He's got it on there, but they've been out of stock for months, so you might as well forget that one. Man, I can't believe they're going to do surgery on Terry again. That's really incredible. That's like, I don't know how many that makes. I know he had at least 2, maybe 3 for the lung problem, and then a couple of more. So that's pretty rough on anybody. And yeah, that girl that got hit, I guess it was a girl, a toddler, 18-year-old. Her dad backed over with a truck. That's I don't know. I'm not sure what I would do. I don't even want to think about it. But I was telling, when I heard that, it reminded me of an employee I had that he did that to his cat, and he ended up doing himself in because of that. So, man, that's something else. So, yeah, I'm on the AF-67. The Valiant's kind of taking a vacation tonight. So tomorrow Spectrum is coming to fix my YouTube problem, and I don't know what's going on. Everything I do on the internet is fast. The speed check is fast. Looks good. Any videos I look at are fine except for YouTube, and everything YouTube is just buffering and slow and hesitates and everything else. And the guy looked at it remotely, and he said, "Oh yeah, you got a problem with the levels. Your levels are off." I'm like, "Yeah, come on now." He said, "Well, we'll send a guy out tomorrow." So they'll send the guy out. Waste some time tomorrow, I guess. Got your picture, Brandon. Brought it up here with the photo editor, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with it. It's really real hammy. I mean, it's that loop with that snow on it and those ghostly looking trees in the background and that whiff of smoke coming out of the chimney, man, that is picturesque, as they call it. So that belongs on the cover of QST, I think, except nobody's going to have those anymore. So I'll put it out there somewhere. I'll put it on the email list, or maybe, and I don't know, I won't even put your call letter on it. That way nobody will know whose it is. They'll think it's mine. Over to you, Tony. K4QE, N4LQ.
Okay, very good. And good evening, Clyde. Glad to have you with us tonight. And sorry to hear the news about Terry. I'll certainly be keeping him on my prayers. That's, I tell you, I hope his spirits are up and he's not falling into depression. Certainly be the worst time for that to happen. Although I can certainly understand it. My best wishes for him. I haven't yet had the opportunity to meet him in person. I've spoken to him on the air a couple times, and of course, when I've listened to you guys while I'm working, I've heard him on the air many times on 3885 in the mornings, but I have yet to have the opportunity to meet him in person. Oh well. Anyway, the Eagles are still losing, only they're losing bigger now. Oh man, I think this might be the end of their season tonight. We'll see. But all right, I'll keep it rolling here. Over to you, Brian. KN4R, K4QE.
Yeah, okay, very good, Tony. K4QE in the group, KN4R. Okay, and hello, Clyde. How are you? Sounds like you've got some indoor going. That sounds very interesting. So good luck with that. So, and very sorry about Terry. I thought he was recovering, but now he's having more surgery. So, and yeah, the 18-month-old child getting run over is just terrible. So, anyway, well, I don't have much else to say. I'm just gonna get out of here and go downstairs and watch some TV with the wife because I've been gone all day. So I've enjoyed it. You guys take care and have a good one. Let's see, today is Monday. Tomorrow morning we'll have a net, I assume. So over to you, John. W4JP on the group, KN4R73.
Okie doke, Mr. Brian, sir. KN4R, W4JPL. And hello to Clive, I think it was. And Brandon, thank you for the pictures. Wow, that's pretty brutal with the ice on the elements of the antenna, it looks like. And about the toddler, wow, I can't even imagine how I would react to that. That's I'm in pain for the guy. It's tears. So I have not heard from Eric, but I'm no big deal, Brandon. I'll hear from when I hear from him. No problem. You say his word's good, and that's the end of that. And Tony, I should be able to do that thing in Mebane, that QCWA thing. Probably isn't going to be anything, so if you want to go, we can go to that Saturday morning if Marianne's all right. I'm going to make this my last transmission for the evening, but I'll listen for a little while. I am beat tired. So 73, I hope you can hear me, Mir. Over to you, W4JPL.
Yeah, very good, Tony. John. I'm looking at the wrong sequence here. Anyway, John, you sounded pretty good this time. And you didn't fade out. You were almost as strong as Brian. And for KN4R, Brian had 73. Have a good night. Tried to be on the net tomorrow morning. And regarding Terry, I don't know him at all, but whoever he is, obviously he's not in great shape. So just as another human being that somebody and his family and friends, I wish the best and quick recovery. And, anyway, so it's never really good. I don't know the story about somebody hitting a young child. I haven't heard. I don't know who that is. But even that, whatever it is, it's terrible. Anyway, so there is nothing spectacular here. Tomorrow I'm going to use the DX100 again, and I didn't have time. I wanted to wire up a D104 for the plug that goes into the DX100B, but I didn't have time, so I'll just use the Shure mobile mic that I used on Sunday, and it shouldn't sound too bad as long as the gain control is at the right place and the modulation is just right. Anyway, so that's the story from this end. So, and good evening, Clyde. You have a very nice signal here tonight. So, Brian, W4GUZ, this is WSU.
Okay, Mayor, very good signal here. The Kenwood's doing a good job with one sideband, but you've got that big pokey carrier in the middle. I'm sure you've seen Terry. He tends to migrate around Cliff, WB4NKL, but he's the one that's always smoking the pipe, sitting on the back of a Crown Vic usually, or walking around with a cane. Yeah, we got a lot in common. Wife loves him. She calls him Grandpa. You either love him or hate him. It's a personality that it leans you either like him or you don't. But he also lost a daughter years ago, and that brought us closer, and we've really connected. But yeah, the toddler that got run over. Pray for the father. Was a child. I stayed mad at God for a good while. David Gillespie helped me get out of that. I'm over that. All is well. I know where Maggie's at. I'm still mad at myself for taking her to a hospital that at the time I felt like I trusted. She died by natural causes, sick or strep throat, which shouldn't happen in the 21st century, but remember, the father could not imagine living with well, guilt comes to my mind, but that's not the word I'm looking for, but couldn't imagine running over my child. Enough about that. Hello, Cly. You're sounding quite nice here tonight in Bakersville. We've got the first snow of 2024, or the first accumulating snow. Brian 73, enjoy your TV time with the wife. We got this thing. Hopefully the FCC is not listening. It's called the Goat. You need to look it up. It's like a Roku or a Fire Stick, but the Goat. And I don't know what kind of voodoo was put in it by somebody, but I'm fixing to cancel every subscription that I've got, because you can get local news, you can get faraway news, Anchorage, Alaska, Hawaii, wherever you want. It's amazing. There's like 3,000 channels, I think, plus Netflix. I may be giving away a secret, but the GOAT, for anybody that's interested. It's an amazing little box. The only complaint I have is it puts out this disco rave LED display on the top of the box, and I've already put masking tape over it because it's brighter than the television is, so I've got to hide that. But that was a Christmas present. I didn't ask any questions. I just plugged it up, and 5 minutes later I was watching Showtime and HBO, so there you go. And the local news, which I haven't done in years, so we canceled our cable. Blah blah blah, I'm rambling. The AF-67 sounds wonderful. Now I have a reason to want an AF-67, so everybody keep their eyes peeled. Brian, you got one hiding in your basement, in your garage? 68 won't quite do 160. Shame. Alright, fellers. Yeah, John Eric will be in touch with you. For sure. Hopefully he'll be on the air as soon as he picks up his microphone. I'm going to bring the Ranger home tomorrow. It's still tucked away in the room at the 911 center. Now listen to this. I'm sure that she's listening, which would be my boss, but Eric's wife was afraid to pick up. I know she could pick it up. She was afraid to pick up the Ranger and set it under the Christmas tree, so she left it at work, and the only thing she done was she took the manual. I wonder if she folded it up and put it in his stocking or threw it at him Christmas morning. But plan on getting it on the air maybe tomorrow night or the next day. Supposed to get down into the single digits not tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning. Hopefully, Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise or a tree doesn't fall in the house. I'll be right here in the warm shack beside the wood stove. The wiener dog does not like snow. The Dutch Shepherd loves it and tries to eat every snowflake. This is when Amy sent me a picture before I came home when the sun was still up and it was snowing, golf ball sized snowflakes, but jumping 3 feet off the ground trying to eat snowballs. So fun stuff. Enjoyed it. It was worth all the trouble that I went through. I need to do that anyway. I didn't want it to fall down and break. We'll see how the Navassa antenna holds up with all the heavy snow. It's drooping a little bit for those that got pictures, but I'm not too worried. I'm not going to take the sledgehammer to the Roan 25. N4CLY. Clyde, go ahead and take it. And I forgot. Whoopsie.
Alrighty. Thank you very much.
Talk to you later. I don't know what's going on here. See you bye.
But yeah, I've been using Goat TV for a long time. It's pretty good. I didn't buy their box. I used my own. If you buy their box, you get the service for a year. I think the box is like $150 or something, but you can get it for $100 a year with your own box. And that kind of thing's great TV. So anyway, back to Steve. Good night, everybody. N4CLY.
Okay, it's N4LQ. Yeah, I went to Lowe's today and saw that some guy was in there with a dog. It's the biggest dog I've ever seen. At least parts of it were. It had feet as big as concrete blocks. And I asked him what it was. He said it was a Norwegian dog. Man, what a beast. You ever seen one of those, Brandon?
Not in person. They're big daddies, though.
Thing is huge. Anyway, well, AF-67s are everywhere. There must be at least half a dozen of them on eBay at any given time. And I think if you can find one that, you know, is halfway decent, easy to get to work, and there's not too many little rigs like this that cover 160 through 10 meters, and I like it. I mean, it's got the coax jack on the side instead of the back, which is well, the weird thing about it is the mode switch is on the back. That's a real dilly, but I don't never had any reason to change modes anyway. I did use it on FM just to see what happened one time with the guys, and it supposedly sounded okay. I think we were on 160 here, did all right. And fine on GoTV, I looked that up, and yeah, they want 150 for the machine, and $90 a year after that, and all this. I don't know. We just got a TV antenna, and the wife just watches certain things on that. Everything else she has on her laptop, and she prefers just to rear back there with that laptop and watch movies and things rather than watch the big screen. I think people are just getting away from big screen TVs. They just don't care anymore. Those days are numbered, I suppose. Let's see, what else was I going to comment on? I guess that's about it. So good night to all you that have left. Tony, thanks for the photos of you and your big IBM box there. And I guess that's about it, class. Glad you checked in tonight. Hope you can make it back every night. Mirror, 73s to you, and I guess we'll just shut her down. We made it through an hour with no problems. Just beautiful conditions. So, anybody got any further comments? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do, Steve. You a big Norwegian dog might be a Norwegian Hellhound.
Yeah, I don't know. I just can't imagine what his food bill must be like.
Well, we have friends that also live not too far from here. They have English Mastiffs. You should see those suckers. A newborn puppy is about the size of my dog.
Yeah, we got one of those up the street here, and we got a Great Dane, and I can't think of. There's another one that this lady has. She likes big dogs, I guess. But anyway, I don't want a big dog. Not that big. I prefer small ones. All right. Anybody got any further comments? Go right ahead. All right. That'd be it. We're closing the net. 73s. Thanks all for checking in. Good night. Sleep tight. And tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, 3715 is the 75 meter AM Old Friends Net. This is N4LQ Clear.
Good night, everyone.